Okay, so I think I'm live. So so Babylon 5 Day. So the 30, it's going to be a 30-year nostalgia loop. I thought it was going to be a 20-year nostalgia loop. I was uber psyched because I had it in my head that it was February 22nd, 2003 that Babylon 5 debuted. So we were going to have a 20-year nostalgia loop on February 22nd, 2023 from February 2nd, 2003. That would have been Bomb Diggity. When we say hello to Jilly Beans, we say hello to Spooky. I'm on my phone, so that the live chat doesn't stay for me. So if I miss people, I really do apologize. I really do apologize. So we're going to get it on the 30th nostalgia loop. I also thought that we were going to get Babylon 5 debuting and then going right in so that we could do something like like we were doing with The Simpsons, where we're hitting it and then getting a weekly thing going where we're on the loop. We're doing a nostalgia loop and we're watching and watching for effects. We're not going to be able to do this. The debut for Babylon 5, February 22nd, 1993, the debut pilot movie for the Babylon 5, The Gathering, debuts. And it's not until January, I think it's like actually January like 23rd. It's like they do another number thing, like one, two, three. January 1994, that they actually pick up Babylon 5 as a regular series. So it's not until next year, until 2024, that we'll be able to actually do Babylon 5, as a loop. But we will be able to do this nifty February 22nd, 30 years. So we'll be able to do, we got a 2, we got a 3. So we'll be able to do it. And Babylon 5 is an interesting show for people that you know the history. Look, folks, if you want to be part of something, you are part of something right now. There is lore developing right now if you choose to record it and remember it as lore. If I remember it and I write it down like I've been doing, it's currently just kind of my magical journal, my journal of discovery. It might be, unfortunately, hey, look, in his lifetime, I'm not trying to be up here like, I'm Van Gogh, you bastards. Another unappreciated genius. What do I have to do? Cut off my fucking ear? Meanwhile, you don't want to get up to those shenanigans on the internet because YouTube will be there like, we're here for it, right? You're going to cut off, someone's threatening to cut off their ear. Here comes Twitter with the friggin' llama eating the popcorn, right? Oh, and by the way, FYI, in case you're curious, my views spike whenever I suggest that there's tragedy in my life. You know what I mean? So for all those people who are out there, loving me, just know, like, and just in case you're curious, just like how many other YouTubers are out there that you consider, these people are my friends. I love these people. These people are my friends. I love these people. These people are my friends. How many of your other friends that you love, and I'm not going to lie, I'm like with you on this one. How many of your other friends that you love? These people are my friends. They're my family. I love these people. Do you only watch their shit when it's like, yo, man, right? You know what I mean? I don't blame you. Who watches his daily content? But anyway, so look, 30-year nostalgia loops coming up, and also on the nostalgia loop tip, Babylon 5 is interesting for us because listen, hey, I know I'm preaching to my ride or die here. Absolutely, but listen. But you guys are the ones that are the ride or die. Listen, you guys are the ones that'll be here. You guys aren't the ones that made my rating spike. You know what I mean? And it's fun because you know what? To your point, you know what I mean? It's funny. What's funny? From now on, I'm just gonna, whenever if there's gonna be a tragedy and heartache video, I'm just gonna call it. Or you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna start essing with people. I'm gonna title all my videos, I'm really going to do it this time. The taxes are due. I don't have the money. You know what I mean? I spent it all. Yo, I didn't think I could go penniless on RPGs. I was wrong. Yo, Boogie2918 got nothing on me. Hold on, big boy. Save one of those barrels for me. I'm coming. You know what I mean? This is this is the end. You know what I mean? It's all over. Corey, come get me. This is it. You know what I mean? anyway. So anyway, no. Yo, check this out. So anyway, but while I'm here, I just want to say this. I'm really leaving YouTube. Yeah, this for real. Until they just, you know what I mean? Until it becomes a thing. I was showing you my my solo RPG, which is my esoteric practice. This was a technique, a meditation, a protocol, a way to think about the things, the shared memories, the Memorex stories that make up my life and your lives. This time travel technology, this nostalgia meditation, this only listening to music from 20 years ago, only reading books from exactly a year, 20 years ago, only watching movies and TVs from only 20 years ago in order to, not because you really think it's going to do it, because on some principle that it's going to make you go back. 20 years in your head, because almost like making yourself a living testimony to the fact that there was this 20-year nostalgia loop, that there was this ubiquitous fact that everything that was seemed to be going on was a repetition of what was going on the virtual cave wall of exactly 20 years ago. But like was observed by, the late great Mark Fisher, this doesn't feel like an organic cave wall painting. This feels a lot like, you ever feel like you've been cheated? Like so much smoke and mirrors, like so much media manipulation, like so much of running on empty. But we're trying to deal with it. We're trying to figure it out. And I come to 47 years of age, having run one YouTube channel for 8 years, talking about New Age spirituality, UFOs, conspiracy theories, having messed with people, been messed with, having an active lawsuit open, having a divorce under my belt, having had a aborted twin flame journey, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? Still reading tarot cards, still looking at numbers, still time traveling, still reading William S. Burroughs and occult esotericism with vested interest, though I'm still count myself as a atheist who, in the heart of hearts, believes that when I'm dead, and this is all just possibly the vain hope of hopes that some of this means something, when the cruel joke may be that our ability to see and understand and put it all together in this wonderful, magical way may just be some accidental way to figure out a better way to get berries and a better way to stick penis A in vagina B. Ooh, 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 ooh. Make more berry gatherers These ones will write books about it. Those books will inspire them to do great things, which more importantly will inspire them to gather into warmer places and prolong their lifespans, which will make them better at making more berry gatherers, who will be better at putting penis A into vagina B and making more berry gatherers, and they'll think grand and amazing things, and they'll get together and talk about evolutionary biology and time travel and what does it all mean, Bob, and Aleister Crowley had really something going on, and what about Carl Jung, and it'll all have been, huh, they thought it meant something. Didn't it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I know enough to keep on journeying, enough to keep on exploring. I came up with this method of time travel. It's not really time travel, it's just a way to do things differently. To not just read books, to not just be watching movies, to not just be watching TV, but to somehow turn that and turn everything into a game. That even if we're just pretending, we're doing something important. We're trying to get the fuck out of this place. We're trying to break the rules, or at least find out what rules are out there. And if this is a dumb way to figure that out, because that's not how quantum physics or the science of time works, I'll tell you something. At 47 years old, I figured out I'm not a quantum physicist and I'm not one of those real time guys. I'm one of these guys that's smart enough to fuck around with role playing games, read Aleister Crowley, and come up with things like chrono magic, which consists of the following. There's a thing called the nostalgia loop. Certain prevalent patterns that exist. You ever notice that everything that's going on today is really just a repetition and repeat of things that were going on exactly in yesteryear? Well, it's not just any time in yesteryear. There's specific nostalgia loops. 10-year loops, 20-year loops, 25-year loops, 30-year loops, 40-year loops. Some of those are based on rhythms, repetitions of certain loops. The 20-year loop is a primary loop. The 25-year loop is very prevalent in our society, but it's really based on operation of calendars and really things like marketing things. Like it's the 25-year reissue of this product or the 25-year reissue of that product. 10-year loops really have to do with the organic growth, and the 20-year loop really have to do with the organic growth and natural processes of human development. 30-year loop really seems like a natural kind of just a rhythm of the 20-year loop, and 10-year loops kind of colliding on top of each other. And then you have the 40-year loop, which is just really the rhythm of the repeat of the 20-year loop coming on top of itself. Kind of a feedback loop. I was talking about all these nostalgia loops, but I've come to concentrate on the 20-year nostalgia loop and its 40-year nostalgia loop rhythm, feedback loop, in order to kind of keep things a little bit tighter. I was also talking about the RPGs and using the RPGs as kind of a way to think about teaching about gamification. And we say a load of Keats and we say a load of Pragmagic. I see a spook. Yeah, I see it. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. But I think we're talking about Babylon 5. You got Babylon 5 stuff going on. Remember, 2 days after we watch the episode, we're gonna have stuff coming up. And listen, we've got a lot of stuff going on with Alternity from 1998. We got a lot of alien opera happening in around this time. Remember, we've got 1993. We got the X-Files happening. Okay? Around 2013, that's right around 2012 with all that Mayan stuff. Now we're here in 2023, and William Burroughs was always talking about 23, and now we're always talking about William Burroughs. And we were talking about the cut-ups. And so I'm talking about this esoteric process of taking these spells, of watching these movies. We also say hello to Jonaside, baby. And taking these spells, and we were using them in the simple fighting fantasy characters. Remember, we're keeping like with like. So we got this book from Trial Champions that was, here we go, originally from 1986, but we got this copy from 2003. And we talked about how we were blessed because I got this copy used. So some young man, Luke, got this and put his date in at 1/11/13. So they did that back in 10 years ago before they sold this used copy that I got on Amazon. So that naturally made it part of the 10-year loop as well. But just it being on the 20-year loop because this was published by Wizard Books in 2003, even though it's a reissue, to that reissue years count. So we've got this from 2003. So I was developing characters from 2003 with it. I watched a movie from 2003 called Grind. Remember that terrible movie? Jason London. It was so funny because I watched that movie and I was talking about that. I watched that movie the night I said to you guys, we're not going to do any loop except the 20-year loop. That movie is all about the 10-year loop. So I watched that movie and I ended up developing a character off spells of it and putting it through Trial of Champions. Guess what? He died. Dick Bam died. I wanted to show you his character sheet though, because he was pretty boss. Oh, here I think I have him in here. Oh yeah, Grindhouse Warrior, as per Trial of Champions 2003 print, Final Fantasy and Grind from 2003. Name Dick Bam, because that was from a spell. Dick Bam, because Bam Margera is in the movie Grind, and he's kind of like the heel. He's kind of like the Bluto of Grind, honestly. And I'm wondering it because Grind is exactly 20 years ago. I'm wondering if we could start a rumor that, or I wonder if not start a rumor. I wonder if it's just true, like Bam Margera because of his attitude in Grind, because of playing the dickhead in Grind, if that like cursed him like to become Bam Margera because he's really like a shithead in Grind. Like if you see him in Grind, he does like the worst things. Like one of the scenes, like there's a scene in Grind, like where I got the name Dick Bam, like where I got the spell Dick Bam, is because he comes like the whole scene is like the guy comes up to him, like this little kid, like basically like this young guy comes up to him, and is like, hey man, can you watch my skater video? And Bam Margera's like, yeah man, totally, I'll totally watch your video. It's no big deal at all. And then this girl comes up and is like, yay, Bam Margera, can I ask you a question? Have you been saying trash about me to other people on this tour? And all of a sudden, Bam Margera like turns around and goes, yeah, you fucking bitch, cunt, slut, whore. Yeah, I fucking did. You fucking worthless, woman who doesn't fucking put out is like a fucking, like, turd that I don't need to fucking shit. You're like a fucking, like, start saying, like, the worst things ever. Like I hope you, like everything except, like, I hope you get raped. Like, honestly, you start saying, like, the worst things ever, this person. And the guy who just gave him, like, the tape, the skater tape to watch is like, yo, Bam, like, they maybe don't chill out, like, maybe don't say things like that bad to the lady, like just like basically like mildly admonishes Bam Margera for like saying like the worst things ever. And when I say like Bam Margera says the worst, like you should see like the like look on the guy's face when he starts like unleashing on the gal. It's like, this is not acting. I'm going over anyway. So all of a sudden, then Bam Margera like turns on the kid's like, did you think I was gonna watch your video? Did I just tell you that I was gonna watch your video? Wow. Well, like, that's not gonna happen now, dude. And like takes the kid's video, like breaks it, like a la like fucking like the worst like school bully in the world. Like it's like the lamest thing ever. So Dick Bam, that's where I got the name. Then so you get these names, like you get these spells from these movies, and it turns these like little like if you've ever played these fighting fantasy game books, there's not like you have three stats. Two of them are 1d6 plus 6. The other one's stamina is 2d6 plus 12. You get to name your guy. Most people who relate to fighting fantasy game books say, hey, they're fun, they're great, they're wonderful, but they're repetitive and there's not much to the guys, there's not much to the characters, there's not much quote unquote role playing involved. I'm telling you, this process that I have cures that. Because you take the guy's name, Dick Bam from that spell, and all of a sudden you've got this kind of persona. Then for the skill stat, what I do is I take these spells that I take from watching these movies and I put them onto the stats. I still roll and use the stats as normal. I get the stat numbers, but I just take these spells and I what they mean and all that stuff, and I just have that data and I just put it on the stat. And it I'm telling you, it just the flavor you'll just come to know and understand how it works in the thing. So for his skill stat, which he rolled, ended up getting a 9, which is pretty decent. I put the spell called "Let Me Get a Skateboard." Someone just comes into a skate shop and says, "Let me get a skateboard." It was Bam Margera, I think, actually did. So I just put "Let me get a skateboard" as a spell. And so I put down, and then for luck, he got "Follow the Leader Now." I just wrote down "Follow the Leader Now." And for his stamina, his person, his body, I put the spell DJ Scratch Red Green. And I'll explain what that is. That is actually the appearance of Tom Green appears in the movie Grind. And he essentially, there's this weird thing that happens around 2003 where, like, guys like Tom Green, Adam Sandler, there was this like trend of like white comedians that would always appear in random movies. Jack Black did it, I think, a bunch of times. They would always appear in random comedic movies as white DJs with Tammy Shanters and dreadlocks, like crazy wool hats, like like beanies and dreadlocks. Like I think Adam Sandler did it in like The Hot Chick. Like they would always appear like Adam Sandler used to do like I think like did it like in 10 movies. I swear to God, like whatever. So when Tom Green does it, he's got a red hat on. So I didn't know how to write it down. He's doing this obnoxious scratching on a record. So I wrote him down as DJ Scratch Red Green. So I wrote it. So then all of a sudden, this guy all of a sudden is basically the Tom Green. He's not necessarily the Tom Green character, but like that's what he kind of looked like in my head. And for luck, Follow the Leader Now, all of a sudden, that suggested a little bit of backstory. And I'll tell you how it goes like this. So remember, the skill was the spell. Let me get a skateboard. His stamina was DJ Scratch Red Green, which was triggered by seeing Tom Green in the movie. And the luck was Follow the Leader Now, which I think had something to do with like watching a whole bunch of kids in the movie follow some other guy. It doesn't really matter. And then all that matters is that then suggested lore to me. So I wrote down in lore here. I said ended up in human cloning because got caught stealing. So then that's the let me get a skateboard. So he got caught stealing a skateboard. So that's how he got caught stealing a skateboard. So that's how he ended up in the system. And so he ended up in the system. That's how they got him into like some sort of like weird program. That's how he ended up having to be like get time traveled back into Fighting Fantasyland. And then looks like a long-haired Tom Green, kinda, because that's where because I got him from that DJ Scratch Red Green. And they says, and then I wrote down now really at home in the program and has taken to assignments like a fish to water. So I wrote that's because of Follow the Leader Now, right? Because he was like directionless on the streets. He had no one to care for him. No one really showed him any direction. So he got it's an abusive system. It's like totally maladaptive relationship, whatever, but he's down for it because at least it's got some sort of system. And then I wrote from his name, Bam, and being a dick, sometimes our best moments occur off screen. Will we witness your redemption? Meaning, even though his name is Dick Bam, maybe because, like, I guess because of, like, the lovable loser aspect of the Tom Green kind of looking like Tom Green, that maybe that if this character, like, did something good, like, achieved something good with himself, then it would be like he would be redeeming the Dick Bam kind of name and that it would be doing some sort of good karmic good. Well, unfortunately, what happened was this. He did good. I wrote down something. He did the first battle. Fought two enemies. If anyone's familiar with Trial Champions. And here's what's really cool about this sort of things is because part of what my system is based on, I've been here for 25 minutes and I'm running on battery power, so I'm going to end soon because I know my phone will die. Um, the majority of encounters in the beginning, everyone will see. And these were very popular books. So I am interested in the notion of repeated experiences. When we all have seen Revenge of the Nerds, we've had a common experience that we can all reference. When we've all go and now are watching 15 million different streaming services, and no one has seen the same movies. Everyone has seen 18 billion different movies, and no one can go to a common experience and point to things. We no longer have these shared moments to point to. We don't have this community, these communal things to go to. But when I know that if I make reference to the Bone Crusher from the Trial of Champions, like all of adolescent Britain from 1983 onward can go like, Bone Crusher! You know what I mean? Or if I make reference to the Easterner, the Fighting Fantasy guys will be like, the Easterner. Da 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 da! Watch out for that pin! Fuck you, Easterner! You goddamn motherfucker! With your pin! Your pin! Meanwhile, when is someone gonna call Ian Livingston to task? Cancel this motherfucker! The Easterner? The Easterner? What the fuck do you mean by that? Joking. Come on. Sir Ian Livingston. Post-colonial what? By his toenails we shall hang him. By his teats he shall bleed for the colonial crimes of his ancestors. You motherfucker. I'm kidding. Ian Livingston. Come on, folks. Jesus Christ. You should have live a little. Hey, come on now. Before you meet the Easterner. Anyway, check this out. So he was doing great. Check this out. He did fantastic. Wait, he lived. He was doing great. But then his demise after 7 rounds of combat with him scoring 3 blows. But then our young hero dies after saving a day and a night. And a man and a monster, a contraption, is his undoing. He failed the skill roll. Say hello to Tolkien Study. But yeah, here's the thing. Because you only get these spells once, I crossed that Tom Green spell, DJ Scratch Red Green, out when I used it for this character that died. Now, when the joke about fighting fantasy character, I'm so sorry. My condolences. My sincere condolences to Tolkien Study on the loss of his father. Words cannot express. But when we cross that out, I'm just going to go on. When we cross that out, it's crossed out. So it's not until we watch that movie again that we get that particular persona of Tom Green back. It's quite all right. It happens. If you need a space to say it, you say it. It's just because of the gravity, words cannot express. So I wouldn't know what to say. And to try to do an honorific within the space of exiting out of and only being able to enter back into a conversation about fighting fantasy books and Tom Green, I dare do nothing other than to simply mark the remembrance to say my condolences, right? What more could I do? Shalom. So we crossed the spell out. It's not until we watched the movie again that we would get that particular Tom Green back. That makes it more of an investment. If the statement about these fighting fantasy characters is that you roll them, they're done. What's the investment? The investment of a name, another guy named Duke Iron Axe. When I put the DJ Scratch Red Green on there, I thought to myself, no big deal, whatever, but when the man lost, when the skill roll happened, and it said if the skill roll goes this way, do this, go to this page, and when the skill roll goes the other way, go here. I knew. I knew I didn't want to turn the page because I already knew enough about the mechanics to know that I had failed the roll and what inevitably the paragraph I was going to turn to would say. And it said what it said. That our lovely DJ Scratch Red Green, our Dick Bam, was yet another one of the nameless. Nameless to who? Nameless to the other strangers in this virtual realm of the Trial of Champions, but not nameless to us. He was Dick Bam. He got caught up in the program because he got caught stealing. Poor fool. When many would probably be looking for the exit door, trying to figure out how to get out of there. This idiot, because he knew no other home, thought he was home, and kept on going and doing exactly what they said. Even what they said was, we're going to use chrono magic to send you back in time. To the time of gladiatorial arenas. We're going to have you participate in something called the Trial of Champions for some reason. The poor fool did it. But he was observed. And he was known. And he's part of the story. And if you read Trial of Champions, you can go and you can have these experiences and you will see, oh, this is what CW was talking about. No, this is what CW, and if just as if anyone else who played Final Fantasy, Fighting Fantasy, this Trial of Champions game would hear, oh, that character, oh, the Easterner, I know what he's talking about. You'll get that hint of remembrance. When you see the Easterner, you'll remember. And then there's that shared memory. Now all of a sudden the shared memory becomes an additional shared memory because it's not just the memory of Fighting Fantasy and Trial of Champions. It's part of this whole meta RPG, SSP, time travel technology, mystery. Bear with me 1 second. Hold on. I was going to go right into tonight. We've already been here for 33 minutes. We're not going to have time for it tonight. I was going to go right into Dungeons and Dragons and the ubiquity of Dungeons and Dragons rules, but it doesn't look like that's what this live stream is going to be about. It's so funny. I was saying, I was buying too much stuff and, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, I have another missing piece of the puzzle. That whole thing where I thought I'd overspent, overbought all those books, and I said, oh, it's just because I'd crossed that imaginary line in the sand. It wasn't just that. There was something that me and Jackie had to clarify for ourselves, and we did. We did. We figured it out. We figured some stuff out, and it's interesting. But I'll be retiring the term ex-wife-wife. It's not that any aspect of our relationship is changing, really. It's just that we came to an understanding as the process of healing, moved on. But oh, this is just. I thought this was gonna work, but these cards are just. This is actually this is funny. Let me go right into this. It'll end up being just a sneak and a tease, and a joke to all those people who only pay attention to the videos that are titled like "The World is Falling Apart." Um, these are so stuck together. Oh my god, this is so. I was saying that I was not going to buy an Oracle deck from 2003, even though I was said that I was going to just do 2003 because yada yada yada. I don't need to buy more stuff, da 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 da. And then I went and bought another deck anyway. And then the funny thing is, it's sold as an Oracle deck. It's from 2003. It's from Hay House. It's from Lucy Cavendish, of course. It's not illustrated by Jasmine Beckett Griffith, but it is by Lucy Cavendish. But the funny thing is, it's a tarot oracle, and so it's basically almost just a tarot deck. But what's so funny is, it's I like it. It got rid. She gets rid of the tarot, the court cards, but she numbers the cards. She numbers starting the Fool at 1 instead of 0. So it throws like everything off. It's nuts, and then everything is so stuck together. I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but we'll see. Hold on. I'm like having to separate every card out individually, and I've never seen this deck before, so we'll see. And like I said, the only reason I got this was because it was from 2003. So this is like so, whatever. I also saw the elephant in the room when they reached out to Token Study. So say hello to the elephant in the room if I didn't see you. Say hi to you before. The ubiquitous A House. Hey, Hey House. Don't forget, they're also the ones that have no problem publishing Teal Swan. They don't have a problem with her. They're also the people. Sylvia Brown. Sylvia Brown. She was like, was she? I can't remember if she was the one who started Hay House or if she just like was pumped on them for so long. Take care. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I almost got all the cards separated. Once I get all the cards separated, okay. Once the cards are separated at least once, then we'll have some hope of some separation. Yes, 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 yes. Boom. Issues of control, freedom, bondage. What is this? I have no idea what this card is. Issues of control, freedom, bondage. Well, you know what? I have no idea what it is, but we'll take it as it is. Ah! Actually, you know what? Issues of control, freedom, bondage. You know what? This is we'll take this. We'll take it as it is. Um, we don't know oftentimes who is the entangling agent. When you get involved in anybody, if you know anyone who's involved in or who's been involved in any sort of like S&M or bondage and discipline sort of practice in their erotic play, they'll tell you that like the notion that one person is absolutely in control and the other person is absolutely the the plaything or the victim, or that any sort of victim terminology applies in any sort of situation. They'll say that that's not really that works, or the notion that if you can't understand that that two people could be involved in a relationship, one person is the dominant, one person is the sub, and then at the tail end of the relationship, the person that was the dominant in the relationship is telling everybody, this person was abusive to me emotionally, this person was manipulative, this person destroyed my life, this person took everything from me, then they were gaslighting me. If you don't understand that can happen, then you're not part of that scene. You're not involved in the S&M relationships. You're not, what I mean. It just, it is what it is. These things, the ties that bind, the entangling practices that people engage in. Not just I use those practices that I mentioned, not to be shocking, but because they're external to many people, and that then therefore you can understand them and see them as external. Because when you see something external, it's outside of yourself, you can understand it because it's outside of yourself. If we identify things that, if start talking about things that are actually internal to you, you can get defensive. Well, no, you don't understand. It's really not like that. It's about this. Look, it's complicated, and sometimes the thing that you think you're doing to help somebody, the thing that you think you're doing is that you think they want you to do. The thing you think is supportive, the thing that you think is helping. It turns out someone comes along and says, you know what, that thing you think, do you know what codependency is? Or they say to you, you know that thing that you think you're doing that you think is, I want you to do? You're smothering me. Or you're killing me. Or I don't like that. Or you know what, that's actually not what I want. Or I think you think that I want that because you feel guilty. You're trying to make up for something. There's a lot of things that may seem like one thing, but are actually another. So when we're looking for the problem, we know that there's a problem. There's a pain, there's a hurt, there's a discomfort, there's something going on. And we're looking for the problem. And we've looked here and we've looked there and we've double checked and we've looked everywhere. Where's the problem? It keeps the gut, the anxiety, the pain, the fight. But we checked here, we checked there. Where haven't you looked? Wait. Is it us trying to do? Is it us? Is it me? Oh man. I really thought I was helping there. I really thought you. And sometimes it's not easy to see the problem because the problem is hiding in the form of something that looks really good. Or something that you think you're doing that's really good. But if your heart is in the right place, and your eyes are open, and your ears are open, and you're willing to learn, and you're willing to look everywhere, and you're willing to be diligent, you got a shot. Okay? I love you, I love you, I love you. If nobody told you I loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody is Cable Incognito, Time Chanter, CW Mystery Meat. What? Babylon 5, February 22nd, 1993. It debuted February 22nd, 2023. You're going to watch it on the 30-year nostalgia loop, and the world is going to go bananas. That's right, I do. You better believe it, Genocide. For Tolkien Studies Father, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What did I say? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In any language, it's the name of God. In any language, it's a send-off. Open doors, may doors be opened. May service be recognized. May lives be recognized. May your circle remain unbroken.